is the honeycomb core that we have to make. Then second is face plate that will go on top of the honeycomb panel. And the third part is a steel ball which will be impacting. So in the assembly mode, if I actually see, so it will be something like this. So you have a honeycomb core and then you have this plate on the top and the bottom, and the steel ball is basically going to impact it. So we are doing dynamic simulations. Till now you have done static simulations, so we'll be doing dynamic simulations today. And we'll try to come up with this type of structure. So we basically start from the scratch. And the most time consuming part is to get this geometry right, which is the honeycomb, this one. So it will be the most time consuming exercise, and let's see how quickly we can get that done. So all you guys are ready for doing simulation? Okay, so I'll start with new. So create part, extrusion, we'll start with 200, solid, deformable. I'll start with a circle of radius 50 millimeters. And then I will try to create a 6-sided polygon using straight line segments. It doesn't matter it is equal length or not, but as long as it looks like hexagon, it should be okay. Everybody got that part done? So 1, done?
Has to be straight.
And it doesn't matter, it has to be 6-sided closed polygon. I need to close it and open it again. The reason I'm doing so because the graphics options are not visible enough for you guys to follow. Okay, so standard part, extrusion 200 is the default size. Start with a circle, considering the radius as 50 millimeters. Then I choose the line segment, start with straight line from here, just make sure that these are connected, straight lines. This is connected and that is connected. So that way 6-sided polygon is completed. Now it need not be equal, it need not be straight. Now what you do, you go to this constraint segment, add constraints. If you go to add constraints and say equal length, and then you select the lines by pressing the shift button. And you will see it becomes a hexagon. Okay? Done? Equal length, and it automatically becomes a hexagon because you cannot have any other way that any other 6-sided polygon will fit in the circle. So once that is done, we will create another circle of radius 48.5 millimeters. Okay, and we repeat the same procedure. 6-sided polygon on that. And I going to add the constraint of equal length again for that.
What was the other circle?
finally you will get something like this. Alright guys, have you got that? The first hexagon, I'm just trying to get the second hexagon inside it. Have you got the first hexagon correct? Yeah? So now I'm just trying to get the second hexagon. So I'm just using some construction lines and seeing what will actually help me to do that easily. So what I will do, instead of the circle, I will go ahead with simple lines. I think that will be the easiest. And then I set that as equal length. Let me see if it allows me to do that. Okay. And then I decide it to have a specific distance, which is, let's say, 1.5 millimeters. Yeah, degrees have to be restricted first.
How much was it?
Sorry?
What was the spacing or?
1.5 millimeters.
Yeah, then we do lines, make a hexagon. Yeah. Then just roughly make a hexagon. And then we go to the constraints, which is this. Then which one is it? It's the add constraints. I don't know which one it was. This one of those add constraints. That one, yeah. Or equal length, and then you click on each of the lines.
Shift.
Okay guys, so easiest way. So let me state from the very scratch what I have done, so it will be easy for you to follow. So I am going to cancel off this steps and start again.
And then just click done.
So you can follow with me. So I get create. The first part is easy. This is to create a circle, which I think everybody has done so far. And then create a six-sided
Did I mention
polygon.
that? I click this one.
And after that, you add a constraint of equal length. So this much everybody has done, right?
Yeah.
So now what you do, you can basically use this auto trim feature and delete the outer boundary of the circles. So you get only one hexagon. Got it? Use auto trim feature. Once that is done, then pick this line feature, and before you pick the line feature, select this line, this option, which is create construction lines. So in this create construction lines, if you keep on clicking, you will, or if you press the click button, you will see the option for vertical lines. So what I am going to do, I will just create a construction line like that. Okay. So first I created a hexagon, then I deleted the outer circle, then I create this vertical construction line. Then what I'm doing, I'm going to pick this line construction and create a 6-sided polygon, which resembles like a hexagon, but it may not be. We will actually make it as we need later on. So just I make a 6-sided polygon. This much everybody has done.
Almost.
Yeah? If you are with me, I will tell you the next step to be done. Ready? So now you go to these constraints and say parallel. Click on this parallel button by the constraints and select all these 4 lines as a pair. So you select all this and press button, you will see all the lines gets parallel. And constraint button, yeah, and parallel feature. The same thing for these 4 lines, and they become parallel. And same thing for these 4 lines, and they become parallel again. Cool? Yeah? Now what I'm doing, I'm basically specifying the thickness by saying add dimension. So I just press add dimension, select these 2 lines, and say the dimension is 1.5 millimeters. So it makes the thickness small. Then I select these 2 lines and say 1.5 millimeters again. I will get that. Again 1.5 millimeters for this and 1.5 millimeters for this. So you get a hexagon shell which basically resembles the outer shell. Does it make sense to you guys? You get 2 hexagons. Yeah?
There's an offset feature.
Huh?
There's an offset feature.
I don't know how to use it. If there are no you have free to use it. I mean, as I said, it's just like one. There's many other ways you can do it. So that much. Okay. Now what we are going to do is also we are going to create one rectangle. Element which is only intersecting the outer 2 edges, not the inside edges, the outer 2 edges. That's done. Make it symmetric with respect to the center line. So when you go to this add constraints, click symmetry. The center line of the symmetry is this construction line. Then select these 2 edges and it will basically make that symmetric. Done? Yeah? Good. So now you basically specify the dimensions between these 2 points such that it is slightly offset from the bottom part. Done?
Can you go back to how you created the rectangle?
How I create a rectangle, I just press this,
And then
use this button, and then select a rectangle around this center line. Done?
What's the point? 0.5?
0.5. It was basically what happens that my rectangle was touching almost close to that. So I just give an arbitrary dimension of 0.5 so that it basically clears that surface. Yeah? Let me know once it is done. And specify the length of that rectangle as 25 units. The same thing you have to do it at the bottom. Here you can create a mirror image, but let me, if you have not follow the rectangle part, so I am doing it again. So I am going to create a rectangle at the bottom.
Do you trim the edge? One of the edge of the
No, we will do that later. So I am just making sure. So for here, if you see my center line is slightly offset, so I have to also place symmetry constraint here. So it's good now. Everything is perfect and symmetric. Now I'm going to create a rectangle at the bottom surface using a similar procedure that was done earlier. So create a rectangle, then add a symmetry constraint by being the center line, and then these two surfaces. And since it has the top dimension was 0.5 from the vertex, so I will use the same thing here and create a dimension of 0.5 from the vertex to this edge. So that way it is constrained, and then I will specify this length as 25 units. So that way, more or less, my geometry is fixed. Once that geometry is fixed, I will auto trim this part and auto trim at the bottom. And that way I am basically ready for extrusion, except it is giving me some errors which I need to. Okay, so I had to auto trim this as well. So if you extrude it, you will get something like this. Now the extrusion has not been with proper depth. I can increase the depth to, let's say, 50, and you will get a hexagon shape like this. Let me know if you have finished that part.
Which button for the auto trim?
Auto trim is if I actually go in the sketch mode again, the auto trim part is this. Auto trim.
What was the dimension of the extrusion?
Height, it's 50 millimeters. This time it is 50 millimeters. You can first, carry on that activity, and I will actually show you that makes sense. I'm just trying.
Constraint.
Awesome. I'm doing this. Then I can't make this rectangle wave for some reason.
I want to make this symmetric.
That's alright, bro. I'm gonna just watch you do it later.
I'll just go like this.
So you're doing the 090? Yeah. Because I got like 5 millimeters for the aluminum.
The first time I think I clicked on everything.
So when I did at 8.5 millimeters again, times 50.2.
Yeah. I know what I have to do.
So mine's probably the
That's it?
Because it says processing the
Is center line?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be blind?
Yeah, I just put 5 minutes.
So no, you have to slip it in wall. You have to use extrude it.
Yeah.
So let me know what's happening with your guys. Are you able to cut the geometry right?
Around 6.
Yeah. So you are getting this
Yeah.
part.
I have, but I'd like to use my own.
Okay, so this. It's not symmetric. It's not good symmetric constraint. Are you guys okay so far? I mean, that's the most critical part, and it's not only this. There are some more elements into it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to show you what I have done. So once you have created this, the next step is to basically use this extrude button again. Create solid extrude. So I will press this. It will ask me to extrude the plane. So I will select a plane and an edge or axis that will appear vertical. So let's say this. So now what happens that I am basically going to pattern this. So since I'm not going to create individual hexagons because I don't want to have that trouble of creating those hexagons and then specifying the constraints and all. So once one hexagon cell is created, I'm going to pattern it. So what I'm going to do is use this pattern option. This is a linear pattern option. There is circular pattern or linear pattern. I will use linear pattern option. Select entities to pattern. This is the all the entities I need to pattern out, and then what I'm going to do is create a 3x3 lattice structure. The spacing I make it a bit wider in the initial stages such that they are not overlapping both in the x and y direction. So they are not overlapping to each other. Let's say 175. So you see now there is a pattern of hexagons and they are not overlapping with each other, right? So what I did, I just created one hexagon and then create a pattern, a 3x3 structure which I created. And the spacings I have designed, I have arbitrarily used trial and error method such that the hexagons do not overlap, neither in this direction, neither in this direction. So once it is done, now my job is to connect them together because eventually they are not separated out, but the cells are connected to each other. So how will I do that? So there is an option called move in here. So let me show you here the translate option. So use this translate option first it will ask you to select a type of translate option. So I want not to copy but to move all the cells together. So I will press move button and select all these individual cells that needs to be translated down. So I will select done. Then it will ask me pick a start button. So I will press this start button and till this one. You will see that all of them have moved to, at least the second row has moved to the first row, connected. Okay. I think it is very difficult for you to follow, so I would rather request you to just see what I am doing. Then later on you can practice and you can follow it yourself. Because if you start to follow what I am doing, it will not be easy to follow. And that is the tricky steps. These are tricky steps while creating a geometry. So I would request you to see what I am doing. And later on when you are doing the practice and you have some issues, let me know and I will resolve. So then I will again do the translate. I will use the translate feature again. And this time again move. The entities to translate would be this row of cells. So once that is selected, I will press done and pick the start button and the end point. So that way all the cells are now connected in the vertical direction. Now I will connect the cells in the horizontal direction. So again the same thing, not delete but translate. Move. Now what I am going to do is select all of these, press done, pick a start and pick a end. So you see all of them have been moved towards that second row. Third row is still disconnected. So again use the translate feature. The last time move and then select this row, pick a start position. Please do not do it because you will not follow what I am doing. You will get lost. So once that is done, everything has been connected. All the rows and all the cells have been connected. The only thing that you have to do is I have to auto trim some of the features in here which are overlapping. So I will show you now what needs to be done. Because if I just press done button at this point of time, it will say section must not self-intersect, and it will show you highlighted buttons where it is self-intersecting. So what we are going to do, we are basically trying to use auto trim feature and resolve these error issues. So what I am going to do is use auto trim feature, and you will see I don't need this edge here. I don't need this edge here. These are fine, but here again I don't need these edges. I don't need these edges as well. And same thing over here. That edge remains because that is a part of the solid. That will remain. This edge will not remain. This edge will not remain in the middle as well. So it becomes a continuous. All the purpose of removing these edges is so that I have a continuous straight segments throughout the geometry. So that is why I am just removing these edges that are coming in the middle. So I am auto trimming these features again. I think I should be ready to extrude unless there are some other errors that it pops up. So I will press done and it is ready to be extruded. So it is going in a opposite direction, so I will flip that direction and use 50 as my depth of the origin, and I will get this hexagon structure, lattice structure. Do you see that? Right? I have not asked you to follow with me, the only reason being that it will take time to understand what are the things that you need to keep in mind while extruding it. Does it make sense? So you follow right now, right? First you have to create one cell. Once you have created one cell, then you actually use pattern feature to create 3 by 3 data structure. Once you get a 3 by 3 data structure, then you basically use translate feature to combine together. Yeah? Once you get that, I mean, you have got 50% of the job done. Now you follow with me. So this is part 1 done. Part 2 will be a flat plate, flat composite plate that will go on the top and the bottom. So what you will be doing is an intact simulation, but not having this cell with you. So I'm going to create a flat plate, composite plate, you are going to create with me. Now I'm going to create a steel ball, you are going to create with me. I'm going to create intact simulation, you are going to do the same thing with me, but I will be doing on this, you will be doing on the flat plate. Make sense? So part number 1 that is done with me, it is not available with you, but let's start with part number 2, which is a composite. So part number 2, extrusion again, solid part, plain rectangle. Now, what is the dimension of the rectangle I should use? Let's take a dimension of 100 by 150 millimeters. And the thickness as 2 millimeters. Let me go to part 1 and let me check what the dimensions of my cell honeycomb structure is. So tools, query distance, it's 255 millimeters in wide width and 446 millimeters in length. So I will edit the part to have that dimension 255 and 446. You don't need to change that. If you wish to change, you can change with me. So